Today we're going to look at using Bun to be able to use AI in Jamango. So the first thing I'm going to do here is just visit bun.com, and this gives me instructions. So I'm on Windows and I need to do this in PowerShell. So I could just copy this by clicking that button, and I'm going to open PowerShell and I'm just going to paste that in and press enter. That's going to work its magic and install Bun for us. So the next thing I'm going to do is just close that terminal and reopen Windows PowerShell. And I'm going to CD to the C drive. So I'm going to, no, if I do it correctly. CD to the C drive. And what I can do there is make a dir, and I can say Jamango code. So I've made that folder there, and I can CD again into that folder. Now, let's go back to Discord, and I want to run this command. That's now installed the Mangolanga server, and I need to enter a folder name for my project. So I'm going to say Jamango AI. Now it's asking me for the shortcode. So I'm going to come to Jamango and I'm going to create a new game here. And I'm going to just use the flat template and name this Jamango AI. Now with this loaded, it's given me this shortcode here, which is what it's asking for here. So I'm going to wait for this to load up here. I'm going to open the developer console by pressing F12. And you see it's looking for this code. So I'm going to paste that in there. And now it's giving me some instructions. So I need to move to this location. So I can just copy that. And I need to run the server again. So we should see that it's connected, but it may have timed out. It only tries a couple of times. So I'm going to close that down, and then I can use the arrow keys to select here. So I'm going to reopen the project. And you can see here, project was updated with 2 assets. And we've got none of those error connections. So if I now go to my C drive and I go to Jamango code, I've got this folder Jamango AI. And if I go into project, I've got 2 scripts, which is the same as these 2 scripts here. So now I've got that downloaded, you can open up your editor of choice. I use anti-gravity just because I quite like it. So I go to open folder, find that Jamango code, find that Jamango AI, open that up. I'm going to say yes, I trust everything in here. And you can see here, I've got my 2 scripts. There's also a guide.md markdown file that looks like it's been updated recently, actually. So now in anti-gravity, I can request something. So I can say, if I have a look in game, I've got this dice prop. So I can copy this and say, when the game starts, spawn 10 props using this ID randomly around position 000 with a range of plus or minus 20 blocks. So I could pop that in there, and it's going to think about it a little bit. First thing it's going to do is just analyze the project. So you can see it's just going through all the files. And what we've got in here is, under node modules, is actually all the API data, sort of traits and whatnot. So that's finished. And it's come up with an implementation plan. So goes for the goal. And this is what it's thinking about doing. Add a loop to run 10 times inside j.onGameStart. So you can see that it's found the hooks it needs to find. It's going to call spawn prop. Interestingly, there's not a position. So it's going to error, but let's just tell it to proceed. Unless they've updated spawn prop, which I don't think so. But if we keep an eye on this, we'll see it start to do some stuff. And again, now it's in, before it was in a how do I do it, now it's in a let's actually do it kind of phase. So you can see spawn prop only takes one argument, which is a string of the prop ID, which has got correct, but it's trying to pass a position as well. So it will pick up that there's an error there. So it's just going to double check that API usage. And what it would be looking for now is just actually how does it use this spawn prop API? And then once it's figured that out, it's going to say, well, how do I position the prop? So it should get up set entity position. You can see down here it's analyzed API again. It's currently puzzled. Here we go. So it only accepts a single argument. There we go. Searching for entity positioning functions. So we should see this update. It'll take out this X, Y, and Z and pull it into a separate API call here. There we go. However, it's expecting a vector 3 or a j.vec3, which it now looks like it's happy with. So it's telling me that's all done, so I could just accept all the changes. Come back to Jamango, and if I open that, you can see we've now got that code there. So when I hit play, there's our 10 blocks. Should be 10. I think some of them may have spawned underneath. So they're long gone. But we can see that it's working. So that's a really simple guide on how to use Jamango, use AI, and if you prefer, rather than editing in the browser, we've got the ability to download the TypeScript files and get them working locally. Any questions, hit us up in community support.